Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions. Today joining me is Shane Oglow. Hey Shane, how you doing?
Very good, thanks, man.
Good. Do you want to give a little bit of background on yourself to the audience, please?
Yeah, sure. Been selling Amazon since around 2013 or so. Eventually, that's gravitated into other things, including PR Reach, which has evolved on its own into more of a digital media marketing company. And I think one of our big focuses right now, in terms of the Amazon space, anyways, is we do launch and rank stuff, but more importantly, I think we're doing earned media and trying to help those brands that are looking to kind of cross the chasm. They're big, they're growing. They might have off Amazon stuff, and they want to become a real brand, not just some Amazon brand, but an Amazon. They want to become a household name, and that's what we're helping them do. So we're heavy into that space, and all kinds of stuff, e-com.
Excellent. So today, effectively, what we're going to be talking about, we're going to go in depth on Amazon editorial recommendations, right? So effectively, this is associated with the on-site associates program. Basically, is an extension of Amazon Associates, which is the affiliate program. And basically, what it does, it brings product-related content from third party onto Amazon to help customers research and discover products effectively that they may be interested in. So Amazon editorials, for those people who don't know, the recommendations, short articles, these are Amazon approved publisher of bloggers and influencers, but these recommendations are not influenced by Amazon. And effectively, it's where you have editorial on page one of the search results, which is effectively based on keywords. But let's back up a bit, because obviously you're going to get two types of people into this. There's going to be people listening and go, oh yeah, I'll do this all myself, write the article. And it's not as straightforward like that. So from the agency's point of view, can you talk to me about the mechanics of how this works on the back end?
Yeah, so it's and to your point, no one can write their own article and submit it to the associates program. Only members of the on-site program will write the article, and you have no control over that article. So even if you say, hey, my widget does this or that, the other thing, can you talk about that? No, not going to happen. They're going to take the information from your page, your product detail page, and only that information to write their article. So the way it works is you submit your ASIN. You should only submit it if you qualify under the general guidelines, and I'll use that term general. And there's some other tips we can go over later.
But when you submit to who, which is effectively these arbitrage publishing houses that you as a PR agency are in contact with, right?
Yeah. You can't directly contact the on-site program and say, hey, can you publish this? You have to go through an agent. So you basically, we give you a spreadsheet with like 7 different columns to fill in some basic stuff. And then what we do is, assuming your ASIN falls within the general guidelines, we submit that to the publishing group, and we try and pair up your product with an appropriate niche product or appropriate niche publisher. Okay, so obviously you're selling fishing gear. We're not going to put you in with health and beauty or something, right? So we try to make sure it's an appropriate publisher. And then once the article is written, and the article is written by the publisher, so they'll take the information, they'll write the article, then we submit it to Amazon for Amazon's final approval, and then it goes live. And that process on Amazon.com, 4 to 8 weeks, I'd say. Sometimes I see it on the 4-week side, sometimes 8+ weeks, but usually 4 to 8 weeks. And the UK, it's a little bit faster. It's usually a couple weeks faster. It's 3 to 5 weeks. And of course, in the UK,
we'll talk about the UK a bit later, because there's a good opportunity there for a land grab, isn't there? Going back to the writing of the article as well. A thing to bear in mind is the quality of your reviews as well, because they want to write. People are not going to do a hatchet job on your product, because there's no point in writing reviews, because they want to make money in terms as an affiliate, right? They want something that they can buy the product. So it's very much in their interest to do this. The only thing is if you've got some bad reviews, this might be reflected for balance of opinion inside the review, yeah?
Yeah, and not all the time. Like sometimes you'll see articles pop up that are, pros and cons. Here's 5 pros and here's 2 cons on a particular product. Again, they're taking all their information from your product detail page. They're not going to look at your Shopify page. They're not going to look anywhere else because that it's all within the Amazon ecosystem. So some sellers will say, "Oh my gosh, Shane, well, I don't want them to talk about this or the other thing." We have no control. Now, in the case where, let's say you've got some bad reviews in the past for something with your product, and it's prominent, and maybe you've made a change to your product, and you've gotten rid of that, but those reviews are still there. What we can do is, in the case if a publisher did talk about one of those things, we can ask them for a rewrite, citing, "Hey, this has been solved. It's no longer relevant. Those are old reviews," or whatever. So there are things we can do to mitigate, right? But you're spot on. At the end of the day, this is a pure affiliate play for the publisher. They want to make money. Amazon wants to make money. So they're not going to write a hatchet job article, anything bad. Occasionally you'll see an article pop up, which you kind of, that's not the best article. Let's see how it performs. If it doesn't perform very well, we'll get another one written. And that's what we can do as a publishing agent.
Well, just going back to the article thing, often they are comparison of other products that are sold on Amazon, right? Yeah. So let's just say, we'll talk about the UK in a minute, but there might be no editorial on those pages or very few. So it gives you a bit more opportunity. What happens in the case of someone comes to you, they've got a product and there hasn't been an article written? Now, a lot of the products are compared, and the key place to be is within those first 3 slots. One, how do you and can you influence those first 3 slots before someone has to click on the read more to see the full article? Can you influence that part? And 2, what happens there when no one else has written an article about other products? So effectively, are they paying to get an article written and someone else is getting it for free if they're doing the comparisons?
Oh, okay. I think I understand what you're saying there, but
I'll break it out a bit clearer. So no articles written on your water bottle, argument's sake, right? Yep. So no article there. And then someone comes along and pays X amount of money to employ an agency like you or someone else in the space who's got the contact with the publishers. So they need to do a comparison article, right? Or do they need to? I'm not quite clear, because a lot of the stuff are comparison of products, right? So it means is that when they choose your product and you're paid to do that, that means 5 to 6, 7, 8 people get a free opportunity to be on page 1 on certain keywords, on rotation, etc., however the algorithm works, right? For that article. How does that work?
Yeah, it's funny because it can be like that. You can see an article and they'll have, a comparison of 3 different products, 4 different products. But other times you won't see that. Like you'll sometimes type in a keyword and see an editorial recommendation come up and only see 1 or 2 articles there. It's wonderful. There's empty spots there. One. So it's completely up to the publisher what type of an article they're going to publish. But yes, we can influence your place. So if we place you, and if you're, when you see the editorial recommendation there, you'll see up to 3 spots, and then there's a little arrow. You can scroll over, and there can be up to 2 more. We're not interested in those 2 other ones. The 4th and 5th are invisible. Not interested at all. You know the
click-through rate. Do you know of any? You've done hundreds of these, right? Do you know any of the click-through rate of clicking through the article rather than just what's appearing on the search results page?
Actually, no, I don't, because we only get the data from Amazon of the sales, actual sales, and to be registered as a sale, they have to click on the product itself, and that's a very important determination, because when you see the editorial recommendation on the left-hand side, you see the article, and you can click on to read the article. So you click on it, you read the article. Hey, that sounds good. When you come back out, so you exit the article. Let me back up 1 more second. There's 4 potential spots you can show up on the top of page 1. Editorial recommendations, organically, PPC, and like a headline ad or a brand ad, I guess you call it that, right? So you got 4 spots you could show up. So let's say you go into this article and you're like, oh, that's interesting, and you read it, and you come back out, but then you click on the organic, or you click on the PPC. You are not cookied for the editorial recommendation. The only way you get cookied for that is if you actually click on the product link itself, look at the product, and then purchase. And the nice thing with editorial recommendations is that you're only cooking for 24 hours, unlike PPC, which is a few days, right? So, you know, if you come in Monday, you look at it, and you come back Wednesday and you buy, it's not attributed. And that's one of the reasons why we usually see a nice bump in PPC and organic sales. One of the reasons. There's another part of that question I'm forgetting.
Yeah, I am now. So let's move on so we both don't look silly. Let's go through the key criteria again. So 30 grand a month in sales, minimum of 100 reviews with at least 4-star rating. I would say 4.5 would be better. Falls in the top 20% of search results positioning for any given category. No medical claims, plenty of inventory in stock. Is anything else there, like what attributes to what certain products won't work? You know, an example is probably not going to be much in the way of supplements and issues around certain claims, medical products like I just mentioned. What's a good fit? Yeah,
so I like to be very clear on this. These are general guidelines. 20 to 30K a month for your products, for your Seller Central account, not for that product doing that amount. And it depends on how many products you have. I don't know Amazon's exact form. If you've only got one product, it's probably going to be a lower amount. If you've got 1,000 products, they're probably going to be one on the higher side. 4-star rating, roughly. Have I seen less than 4 stars get in? Yep. 100 reviews, roughly. Have I seen 85 get in? Sure. The one criteria that we're pretty sticky about is when you submit, you can submit up to 3 keywords you want to rank for. Well, these should be your primary terms. The most important thing is you should be on page 1 for those terms. Okay.
Right.
We can get you published probably if you're on page 2, or a good chance, but the article's just not going to perform as well because Amazon's just not going to give it that share of voice, right? The other tip is, make sure you're on page 1 and crank up your PPC during the application period on those terms. Just show Amazon, hey, you're serious about these terms. They're more likely going to show it and give you more shared voice at the beginning. Give it a chance to see how it does. No, nothing with religion, politics, sex, supplements, medical claims, that type of stuff. We'd had a guy, a few months back, dog shock collar, not too controversial, out. CBD. Some stuff you can get in. Like, for instance, if you're selling MCT oil or coconut oil or something like that, if you're selling it under the food category, sometimes we can get you in, but if you're selling it as a supplement, no. Now, for supplement sellers or for those CBD guys and keto guys and all those people, we have something called off-site articles, which we may not have time to go into today, which we can do those things and then drive the links back to Amazon. But that's a little bit different animal. But yeah, that product approval criteria is really just general guidelines. And be close to it. Obviously, the better your product is, the higher conversion rate, the more kick-ass your product is, the better the chance you're going to get placed, and Amazon's going to give it a lot more love.
So let's go back to the keywords again. Like you said, you would like to see the client, or sorry, the seller, if you like, to appear on page 1 for the keywords that are submitted. So what is the criteria there? Let's just say there's going to be certain search terms that people just can't convert on and meet their target ACOS on. It's just not going to happen, right? So then, would an article not suffice to do so? So what is the damage? Let me reverse that question. If you've got, I don't know, let's say water bottles and it's $6-7 a click and it's $12.99 a bottle and you convert every 10 clicks, he's never going to make any money, right? We know that. It's just basic mathematics. But what about if you worked based around articles submitted on certain sets of keywords? Is your form of marketing on those keywords? Is there any benefit, or is there something that is stopping it in terms, because we know the articles rotate, we know they're based on keywords, right? But do you know, or have you observed any kind of formula of how that works? Because obviously you made the suggestion, we like to see you on page 1 with those keywords, but if you weren't, what kind of impact and what are you seeing?
Well, and that's an interesting question too, and I think every case is going to be different. So in the case where you're saying, all right, you've got a really ridiculous cost per click, you're not making any money, maybe it is worth it in that case to go for one of those other keywords, or for a keyword that maybe you're not on page 1 for, to get, maybe you're only showing 12% of the time, or 15% share of voice for that term. But it's a heck of a lot cheaper because your ACoS ends up being, well, it's a little bit more than 10%, but not a lot more than 10%. And it's steady. That'll never change for the life of that article. You're never going to be charged more. So, and we can get into that, the pricing structure later to understand that. But I think that would be a worthwhile thing for some of those terms to test them out. Now, the other thing that we do too is okay, you submit your product for an ASIN and you submit for one of your primary terms and you get it. Wonderful, great. Well, now we start to knock off other terms with new articles for the same ASIN. And our idea is to lock up, the top 3, 4, 5, 6. Why not? Like lock it up with all your keyword terms at the top of page 1 with editorial recommendations.
Okay, so who's in my notes here? A couple of things I want to cover here. So we know obviously it's going to help towards organic ranking conversion rates.
Yeah.
From a distance, if you like, for a better word of it. Good for brand awareness and social proof. It comes from independent publishers. The good part of that is, even though independent publishers, it's in Amazon's benefit and the publisher's benefit to make money. So you're not going to get a hatchet job. Going back to the PPC strategies, understand is that if you're working with longer tail keywords, there's a different story and your cost per click's lower. Obviously, there's going to play an advantage there. It's just what do we do around super competitive keywords? The good news is obviously if you're in them firstly, 3 slots are larger than most sponsored ads, takes up more visual real estate in the search results pages. Let's talk about this rotation a bit more and define if there is because it's not very clear whether there's an end term or not. You don't seem to think there is. You talked about a refresh earlier, right? And the reboot of the article. Let's divide between the two. Refresh is where they go in and rewrite parts of the content, and the reboot is a complete rewrite, or how does that work?
No, so we call it a refresh. Where basically, for some, sometimes there'll be reasons why it just doesn't catch. It just doesn't seem to catch in the Amazon. There's no real reason for it. The price is good. The click-through rate, like there's nothing obviously wrong. We'll just ask them to do a hard refresh, kind of like turn your computer on and off again. And a lot of times that'll fix the problem. In the case where the share of voice is declining, maybe you used to get 56% of the time your article was rendering for a certain keyword, and that's gone down over time, and now you're at 22%. Okay, what's going on? We might ask for a rewrite. There could be different reasons for that. There's a whole bunch of different reasons, but that's what we do. We monitor it every single month. But just before people get too excited too, we deal with publishers every single day, not just on Amazon, from television, radio, everything. And it's like herding cats. It's a little frustrating for us, but you know what? That's what we do. So you just have to be aware that if we do a rewrite, nothing happens overnight. You be prepared to wait 2 or 3 weeks. So just going to throw that out there in case anybody thinks this can happen overnight. And the algorithm for editorial recommendations is quite slow. It's nothing like the A9. But going back to I wanted to mention about the article rotation. Amazon, from what we've seen, will have about a maximum of 5 articles per keyword. That's the max out there. Once it's full, it's full. You're never getting in, never ever getting in unless someone falls out. So if you're like a popular term I can think of is Instapot. Like if you want to get an editorial recommendation for Instapot, it's not going to happen. We can apply and maybe we can knock someone out, but it's a little hard to do that. There is no defined term limit. These things could theoretically last forever if you maintain inventory, you've got good sales, everything's good. Why not? If Amazon's making money, if affiliates making money, why would they pull it down? But that's what we do is we help monitor it. If you run out of inventory for any length of time, if there's a material change, let's say you change your packaging or colors or something, and someone reads your article and the picture looks a little bit different from here, your numbers are going to go down, and that will get affected. If your BSR tanks, reviews get hammered, those things can happen, and yes, you might get pulled down. In that case, we would submit for a new article to be written. So we have some amount of control maintaining your article and monitoring the stats. So again, 5 articles maximum is usually it, and they'll rotate through. And every month, I mean, what we have is we've got reports, basically a dashboard. You're going to see what keywords you're rendering for and how often. So you get to see all this data. And the other important thing to know is, just like other stuff on Amazon, let's say you get an article written, you might type in that keyword and never see your article, because it's going to show different products or different articles to different people depending on their location, the browsing and purchase history as well. So just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there.
Cool. I just got a couple of comments here. Hey, Danny, exactly 1 year of joining your live at 4 p.m. Only missed 4 or 5 sessions. He's a brave man. Okay, there's a year's gone past, yeah. Thank you for every single minute of awesomeness. One nice one, buddy. He's also followed up. Sorry, guys, I missed the opening points. Where are these editorials and articles appearing? So, Shane, do you want to explain?
Yeah, editorial recommendations are basically a third-party article. It's like having a paid review, which usually shows up at the top of the page 1 Amazon. Sometimes you'll see it a little closer to the middle of the page, depending on what Amazon's rendering. But it occupies a big chunk of space, and there's an article there, and then a few featured products which you can click on. It's giving you more authority, more visibility. It will increase your conversion rate. It will usually bump up your PPC and your organic sales, get social proof, trust, all that kind of good stuff.
Cool. So I've just shared my screen there, so you can see that? Editorial recommendations. This on this page is about halfway down. Shane, it does vary, doesn't it? I've seen them higher up the page. Excuse, I've got Amelize plugin on at the moment. So there's an example of a water bottle site there. These are the 8 best water bottles. Here's the click-through link. These are the 3 spots. Our pick, our pick, our pick. I mean, these changed, didn't they? Like, they show not the good, the bad, and the ugly, but there's different variants on titles of, high level, mid level, basic level, depending on the type of product. So if we take it through to here, and you can see this one was written this was updated on the 22nd of January 2021, written by Eve O'Neill. And as you scroll down, obviously these are all going to be related. So let's quickly talk about how does the tracking work, and then we're going to talk about some fees and how you break it down in comparison to the benefits of that against, say, as a marker, as ACOS, effectively.
Yeah, and just before I do that, Danny, I just want to mention something. When you were showing those water bottles, that was actually an odd article where it just said our pick, our pick, our pick.
I know, that's what I mean. That was a shit example. I was just showing where it was. No, it was a poor example because it wasn't very well written, but it just giving them an idea of what they look like to search for. Yeah,
sure. One thing I'll mention about that, though, is oftentimes let's say it's this water bottle, you might see, best for athletes, best for using with a hydration pack, or who knows, right? And if we think about that, when we've been in this Amazon game long enough where you want to differentiate your product as much as possible, and you want to stand out from your competitors. Oftentimes, like when you submit your article, your keywords, if you focus on one of those longer tails that it's focused on one of those benefits, maybe you've got in your title, best for hiking or athletes or whatever. A lot of times the editorial recommendation, when they write it, they'll focus on that. So they'll have best for this, best for that, best for the other thing, which is nice. Because if I type in, water bottle, I might render for it and I'll see those 3 options. And me as a consumer, I'm like, oh, hey, this is great for hiking. I might click on that automatically. So you get some keyword diversity in there as well. And you can, you never know what you're going to get with Amazon, but you can suggest to them the keywords you want to rank for. So that's another point to consider. It's something that's loosely in our control.
So let me ask you a question based on that then. So you're saying that you can submit free keywords, and that's part of the application process. But if you're quite pally with the writer of the article, surely more keywords can possibly slip in there, especially if they're taking them from your listing as well. Although you don't get as much control, oftentimes more than 3 are probably appear, would they?
Yeah, and that's a really good point, and we can talk about the UK later, but sometimes you might render for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's completely up to Amazon. They might test all kinds of stuff, At the end of the day, we usually get the first one or two of those three keywords. And those three keywords are usually going to be in, probably at the front end of your title, or unless you're not ranking on page 1 for them, you might want to go for a longer tail to get a bit better performance from the article. But yeah, if that makes sense.
Sabi says this is .com or all regions. So we know it's on .com. There's a bit of a land grab that can take place in the UK. Where else is it? Is that because normally everything launches from the US site first, isn't it? But
sure, yeah.
Are they on Singapore, Australia, etc.?
Yeah, I don't know. So right now it's .com, UK, and Germany. So we've been trying to deal with the German publishing group lately. We haven't been able to make a deal with them. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. But right now we're just doing .co in UK, and I'm sure it's going to be France, Italy, Spain, Canada, Japan, all showing up sooner or later.
Yeah, Roger says, question for Shane, please. You mentioned off-site articles. If your product might not be suitable, would you have lots of ways to affect UK media channels?
Yes, yeah. The off-site articles, even in the UK, actually, that group is growing. So it's a different group of publishers. There are some crossover publishers from the on-site and the off-site. But basically, what we do is we take the other cool thing is not only can you sell or advertise like supplements or keto or things that aren't allowed on for Amazon editorial recommendations, you can do promotions. So if you're doing a product launch or you've got, save 25% for the month of May or whatever, you can promote that. And the cool thing is when we submit that, and if a publisher picks you up, like we've got Digital Trends or Best Reviews or Wirecutter, I mean, there's so many of them, that this is a pure affiliate play, right? These guys just want to make money, right? So they have one of their writers write the article and they publish it. It's on their site. They're going to do email to their list. They're going to do push notifications on mobile. They might take out Google ads. They're going to do all kinds of stuff to drive traffic because they want to make money, right? It is incredible for your Amazon listing for your BSR ranking because you're getting that off-site sales and traffic that Amazon is rewarding the heck out of right now. I've seen off-site articles not do all that well. They got some sales, it wasn't a big deal, but they got a really nice list of their boosts. So a lot of sellers who know about this will just constantly try to keep an article in rotation, whether it's every month or every quarter, whatever they got going on, just for that boost. They're not even so concerned about the off-site sales, but it can be a very powerful driver, especially time of year if you're focused around the holidays, your type of product, your price point, that type of thing. But the UK publishing group is growing rapidly. We're getting some good results. And just going back to UK, Roger and Danny, you mentioned this, it's a bit of a land grab right now. The best results I've ever seen, I've seen like 1,000% increase over 30 days in sales from editorial recommendation. But no, that's not normal, right? That's from one placement. That was when someone was first to market. There was no editorial recommendation there for that keyword. It blew it up. It was good timing. It was good product, good time of year. Like the planets aligned. So I'm not saying, hey, if you're first there, you're going to have 1,000% increase in 30 days. But right now in the UK, hardly anybody is utilizing it. The keywords are wide open. You'd be crazy not to get your article into the UK while it's open. And while it's open, Amazon's probably going to test, you're going to get keywords far and wide. Over time, that will get narrowed down as more people come into the marketplace. But it's a great opportunity in the UK right now where not many people are, and they call it recommended articles, I think, in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Also on the UK, you were saying about you may get more activity, a wider look on keywords as well, because there's less editorial in those slots. So therefore, it's in Amazon's interest to incentivize the affiliates and for them to make more sales. Therefore, you may get a higher spread of keywords as they're testing.
100%. Yep.
Yeah. What else have we missed so far? We've pretty much covered everything other than, let's look at the costs side of things. So you as an agency, standard price out there, what is it, 1,500 quid a product, or dollars? Was it sterling, dollars?
Yeah, it's $1,500.
And that's only if you get placed, right? So if you don't get placed,
that's right. Yeah, so it's not like you're throwing money into the wind and hoping for the best. The other thing is it's per ASIN. So remember back when I mentioned it's like, hey, we've got a strategy. We'll strangle off all the keywords with articles. So, maybe month one, we get you published for your one keyword set, then we'll submit for a second article for another keyword. The idea is you can get, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however many articles out there and really dominate that space. We don't charge you $1,500 again for a second article for the same ASIN. And like your fees don't increase. So it just makes sense to do it. If for a second ASIN, yes, 100%, it would be a new charge. The other thing too that I'll be clear about is if you get editorial recommendation in the United States and you've got the same product you sell in the UK, it's a separate charge. It's completely separate. Like we don't that wouldn't apply for the same ASIN, if that makes sense.
Okay, so and then ongoing payments is monthly, and what happens there? This is where the boost comes in, isn't it, or the hard refresh?
Yeah, so basically, it's $1,500 to get you placed. It takes 4 to 8 weeks for .com, 3 to 5 weeks for the UK. Well, on average, just give me 1 second. I'm just going to shut the door. Someone just came in. I'm sorry, Danny.
So answer your question.
Yeah.
So Simon, so you would use an agency for this who would deal directly with these publishing houses. Shane can take over here. Of course, you can try and look up people's names and find who wrote the article and approach people, but it's quite difficult. There's kind of quite high barriers to entry there. And there's obviously no guarantee. So this is why if you're not I know you're not a new seller starting out, this is more for advanced sellers with a bit more cash flow, looking for different ways to diversify their marketing. Shane, back to you.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I have heard stories of people who have gotten published. That was a long time ago when it first started. Most publishers now won't answer or won't respond to private sellers messaging them for requests to write articles. Maybe you get lucky. I don't know. But yeah, in terms of the cost, is that $1,500 per ASIN, okay, fee. And then once we get you published, the following month, there's a maintenance fee. It's $125 a month and 10% gross merchandise value, and that's the term that the publishers have. It's basically clicks or sales attributed to those clicks only, okay? So 1,000 units in a month and 50 of those sales are attributed to editorial recommendations, then you're charged 10% of those 50 sales. So it's that $125 a month, that is what pays us to maintain that article and monitor it. So if we have to do those hard refresh, rewrite, those types of things, it allows us to do that to give it some continuity. There's something else I'm going to mention about that, but I can't remember offhand. But that's it. Sorry. 10% is basically the commission that's being paid. I mean, this is how the affiliate is getting paid, right? The publisher. So once you factor in that, there's a $1,500. So people say, it's a 10% ACOS. Well, not really, because you got to factor in the $1,500 you had to pony up front, and then you can amortize that over the length of the article. Is it there for 3 months, 6 months, is it 9 months, is it a year and a half? Every month you go further, it gets closer and closer to 10%, and it will never change. It will never ever go up. Even if that article gets pulled down 8 months from now, we can still get a rewrite, get it back up, maybe in a few weeks, a month or two, whatever, get it back up and carry on. You're not dinged another $1,500. So to me, I mean, what's it worth for you to keep basically a paid review from a high authority third party at the top of page one on Amazon? I mean,
yeah.
To me, it's priceless.
Is there anything else we should be covering? We've covered the main points, haven't we?
I think so. We can always talk about things like off-site. That's a different animal, and it works.
Let's do it. Yeah, we've got a bit of time. Let's talk a little bit about off-site.
So with Amazon editorial recommendations, if your product fits within our guidelines, we've got about an 80% placement rate. 80% of the time, we'll get you published. And if we don't get you published, we can keep at it, and we'll probably get it done eventually. With off-site, although the publishing group is growing every single month, it's more niche driven, and we've only got about a 30 to 40% placement rate. So if you had 10 ASINs and you submitted them all to me this month, I might not get any published, next month. I might get 3 or 4, maybe 6. That'd be very rare, 1 or 2. So the point is, a lot of times people will come to me with one ASIN and they want to get off-site publication. It could take me 3 months to get that damn thing published. I don't know, right? Because it's the lower publication rate, and they're more picky. So, if you've got an outdoor camping product or something, only you're going to be looking generally at outdoor and camping types of blogs and writers. Occasionally, you might get picked up by more a broad spectrum, like a Wirecutter, for example, type of publication. But they tend to be more niche driven. So, as I mentioned before, the primary purpose, most guys I know who are doing this very successfully are doing it just for the Amazon boost they're getting from the outside external sales and traffic from a high authority site. Okay. The wonderful thing is you can get published for those articles or for those products that Amazon won't allow. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing, your supplement seller, you're thinking, all right, that sounds fantastic, Shane. I've got even lower publication rate for supplements because everybody wants in, right? So maybe I've got a 20% chance or 15% chance, but it's still worth it. So a lot of guys keep it in rotation. And again, you can offer discounts. You can, March 25, save 25%, whatever, coupon codes, whatever you want to do. You can add that in there because the publisher wants to be a hero to their audience, right? They want to give their audience this great deal exclusive to them. So they love those types of things. And the way that works is we can get those articles written really quick, sometimes within a week. I mean, more commonly 2 to 3 weeks we'd like to have, but we submit that spreadsheet every week to the publishing group. So let's say you had 3 products. You're like, hey, Shane, let's see if we can get one of my 3 products in. Maybe you'll get all 3, maybe you'll get none, who knows? But they keep them on the spreadsheet, and maybe every month they'll change the offer. Not necessarily. Or that they've got 3 products. Month 1, they'll put 1 product in, see if they can get it. Month 2, they'll try a different one. Who knows? Maybe you're trying to sell snow shovels in July, you're not going to get picked up if it's in July. So seasonality does play a big part in that. Mother's Day, Father's Day, like the big 4 holidays. Definitely, if you've got something that really lends itself well to that, then you'll have a higher chance of getting picked up. The pricing is a bit weird with it. This is something we've are always kind of dealing with the publishing group. And if you talk about herding cats, man, the offsite articles are really challenging. But we're not charging if you don't get published. So again, we're not just throwing money out the window. But we charge $600 a month if the article is live and if there's a sale. So if the article's live, but for some reason you don't get 1 sale, then you're not charged. But so the question is, well, hey, Shane, what if it's live and I get 1 sale? Yeah, you get charged. So that's the way she works. I've never seen that, but it could happen.
Just jumping back to the top of the hour, the topic. Roger says, Shane, I have someone in the US who hit me with the following. So ballpark cost is $2,000 per ASIN, plus 10% of attributed sales. You only get charged if the editorial goes live and you hit with the 3. If you appear in the top 3 slots, what do you make of that? So he's now doing live quoting on the show. But from that, from that is that your fee is slightly different. Their fee structure, if it's $2,000, yours is $1,500. But they don't, by the looks of it, charge the monthly retainer. But are they doing the hard refresh and making sure the article's in existence, or are they basing their fee that they've got a mindset that the article is running for, say, 5 months? Do you know what I mean? Because you're paying less on the back end and it's more upfront. But what's interesting about that, I think, is what Roger's saying is that they're saying you only get charged if the editorial goes live and you hit the top 3 spots. So
we're the same. I should have clarified that earlier. And I think I said earlier, if you're in position 4 or 5, we don't care. That's meaningless to us. So you've got to be running those top 3 spots. We're just $500 cheaper to do it. We do have the $125 a month plus 10%. So what they're doing, I'm not sure, but that's what we do. But I think that we're the only PR firm in the game. I mean, as I said, we deal with publishing agents and television shows constantly. So I don't know their ability or what they're doing on the back end.
Yeah, cool. Sorry, going back to where we were with offsite articles, have we finished on that part? We covered most of it?
So it's $600 a month and 17% GMV.
Okay.
So for every sale, you're paying 17%.
Cool. What's coming up from you? Because you're over in Andorra, right?
Yeah, still here. It'll be 3 years coming this summer. So
cool. And looking forward to getting back out on the road, hitting the conferences again.
Man. I can't wait. I can't wait. I know we
I got a load of stuff booked in now. Like this week, I sorted out a load of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. I haven't made any plans yet. I'm hoping I can come out and see you in June. At the end of June, but I've got no plans of. Still kind of waiting. Things are still unsure, but I feel it's a good thing. What you're doing is tentatively already starting to make plans. If they have to change, they have to change. But
this is it. I mean, we're going to go. I haven't gone official with it, but we're going June 26th because the UK's lockdown finishes on June 21st. Now, if there's a problem with speakers being able to travel from the US, it's a different story. But in May is 50% capacity. In June, they are saying that we will come out of lockdown and not return. So I based it on that weekend after that announcement date, which could change. But there's 36 contracts to negotiate, and there's a lot of stuff goes behind the scenes every time you move one. But no, I still book stuff in. I've got Birmingham, Poland, Estonia, Brighton. There's a load of stuff that I've got booked in between now and the end of the year. A lot of this stuff, anyone whose events are not sold out and they're like putting the events on, they've got lead time. So they're looking at June. And so a lot of the stuff you're going to see live events again, they're going to be come around late September, early October. So you're going to have a little crush there on the EU or the UK side for sure.
That's right. I think Estonia is September too, isn't it?
That's June.
Oh,
that's it. Yeah, Estonia is June. I've got Poland in September, but that depends on the COVID situation there. Then I've got Ireland in October, IRX, which is in the NEC in Birmingham. That's October, and a couple of others. Yeah, so there's about 5 or 6 gigs lined up. But I'm looking forward to getting out on the road because I've just had enough of lockdown. I've been at home for 8 months.
You should have been here in Andorra. It's been normal since last summer. So I see the news and I can't believe what you guys are going through. Whatever.
Indeed. Cool. So best way people can reach you.
Yeah, just Shane at prreach.com. So double R there, PR Reach. And SHANE, not the other way. And that's it. Yeah, or just go to our site, prreach.com. Check it out. The site's going through a constant metamorphosis, so don't judge too hard. But yeah, there's lots of information on there on editorial recommendations and the stuff we do.
Cool. Guys, I'll be back here tomorrow. We'll be talking about 6 or 7 funding options for cash flow for your Amazon business. And see you back here again tomorrow. Take care of yourself and your family. Much love.